And now, live from the studios of Freedom's Phoenix, Ernest Hancock.
Turn on the tube, what do I see? A whole lot of people crying, don't blame me. They point their crooked little fingers at everybody else. Spend all the time feeling sorry for themselves. Victim of this, victim of that. Your mama's too thin and your daddy's too fat. Get over it. Get over it.
Yeah, get over it here on Declare Your Independence. You know, we just gotta, you blaming everybody else for something. You know what it is? It's the guy in the mirror. You know, it's your own family. It's inside your walls. You're looking for somebody else to fix it for you. You're already screwed up. You know, the world's a bad place, man. Get used to it. And what do you need to do? You need to take care of business on your own. Why? Because whose responsibility is it? All right, well, we got other people. They want to help you, I guess. You know, Dylan Reeves, he's talking about, we're going to go, he wrote a paper for the his law review, or what are we talking about here? It's a board of editors of the Alabama Lawyer, the official periodical of Alabama State Bar. So here we have lawyers in Alabama are getting this available to them, and we made it for download on today's archive, and it's called Tort Liability for Manufacturers of Violent Video Games, a situational discussion of the causation calamity. Now, I would, of course, I want to see the tort liability for the U.S. freaking government for, manufacturing all this hoopla, drum beat and go war and actually killing people all over the world. This is not a problem. The video games are. Well, maybe it is. You're training them up, okay? And it has support of the government. No sex, but you can do the violence thing. So let's go ahead and, get a response from Dylan Reeves. Help me out here, man. They're training us, and you're making what argument?
Well, let me help you out with that first. Even the Army recruits through a video game available for download. It was named America's Army, and it was a simulator that they used to attract teenagers to sign up for the Army and enlist.
I am not shocked.
What you have a type of video games that help you acquire a skill set. There was a game, and I apologize to younger listeners if the game may be a bit dated. It was called Soldier of Fortune. And what they did, the creators hired a military mercenary to come in and help develop gameplay that features 26 different killing zones and where the characters respond realistically to different shots depending on where in the body they're shot. And so you have games like that and games like the Replay that help you acquire a skill set. And that's quite distinguishable from something that may be merely objectionable because it's bloody or gory or features communist or anything of that sort. You have to look out for games that can actually translate into real-life acts of violence.
It's all accumulative. I mean, it's where do you make the line? I mean, are they pulling a trigger on a gun killing somebody? Are they, at what point do you go, well, this is, heck, I had teenage boys growing up with this stuff, Call of Duty. Heck, if I wanted to spend time with my kids, it was playing Halo or Call of Duty with them. That's just how it went. Hey, let Dad play so I can sit by you. And the thing is like, well, you got to get a headshot. Oh, if you just get, the leg, it doesn't work, or the chest is, better than, the hip. And, at what point do you make that delineation where, we need to, if you hit them in the big toe, all of a sudden they blow up and, so it's not accurate? What are you saying?
Sure. And it's that very fine line and gray area of what actually helps you acquire a skill set. If you compare something to a game, say, Grand Theft Auto, where you just go around shooting, blowing up, stealing cars, burglarizing, that's just kids being kids. That's no different than Snow White being poisoned or Cinderella's evil stepsisters having their eyes pecked out by
you're
birds.
Killing me, man. You're making it. I played that game with my son. Watch him, and it's like, they drive the cars around running over people. And he supposedly, all this is okay because he's really an undercover cop, that's trying to expose something. And then they get Grand Theft later. I guess he goes bad or something. But the point is I'm going, where is the line? And you're trying to give me, a line because it's like a skill set or something. And I'm like, you get them in center of your hood and you run over them. That's a skill set. I mean, what's the line?
Sure, but take the Grand Theft Auto, like you said, you drive around running over people. There's some entertainment factor in that versus a very innocent video game such as a basic flight simulator. The 9/11 hijackers were able to train on that flight simulator because it's so real life and it helps you acquire that skill set of flying a plane versus what does Grand Theft Auto do other than entertain you by running over pedestrians and
wow, again, a fuzzy line. I'll give you a perfect example. Last Saturday, just less than a week ago, we had a birthday party for my granddaughter and grandson. They just happened to be born on the same day. And it was an opportunity for a good friend of their father, my son, to give him a present. It was just because they've been good friends for a long time. What was it? Flight simulator, okay? And the reason he did that is because he got a new computer and all this kind of stuff. And I remember years ago when they were in high school, they would be doing 5-hour flights from L.A. to New York, and real life time kind of flight simulating, doing kind of whatever. And this is right after 9/11 and so on, like you're saying. Same kind of stuff. They learned how to, my son's, he works at Honeywell Aerospace, okay, making all kinds of whiz-bang gadgets and pieces of. And they've learned how to fly most of these planes and helicopters and so on that they actually make parts for from these simulators. And I'm going, in real time, live, they're going to be able to have a sandwich. We're going to cross the Atlantic and so on. Now they're should be protected from doing that because they might go into a World Trade Center. You see my point? Where's the line?
Sure. Well, when you say protected, we may be getting mixed up there.
You're saying it shouldn't be available to a skill set for a terrorist. And heck, I got my son, just got another copy of it from his friend. Should he be expected to be arrested?
If he commits the real life act of violence.
If you do the act, then you have the act that you go after. And they'll say, well, the guy that made the hammer, should go after the person that used it to bash in somebody's skull. I'm trying to get a clean, because I'm giving you the opportunity. I mean, I want a line. I'm trying to find out where this line is. We got Supreme Court justices up there saying, look, if it had this, then it would be more, restrictive. If it had that, I'm going, okay, based on what? And you're saying if it actually causes somebody to take an action, I go, well, that action is already prosecutable. Now you want to go to a manufacturer that did, made the gun or made the video game or made the whatever, and they get blamed for it. While at the same time, our entire government is pushing and in fact using video games to recruit people to actually really go kill people. Why aren't you suing them?
Sure. Well,
sue them. Why aren't you suing them? I want to know the question. Why aren't you suing the U.S. government for doing exactly what you talked about in this piece?
You can't go after the U.S. government because of government immunity. It goes back to the notion of the king can do no wrong.
Oh,
be it right or wrong, the king can do no wrong.
So the king that would use this video game, you can't go after them. So you're going after the guy that made the video game that the government paid to use.
You have to look at the party responsible
and then expect the
for
government
the training.
Then you expect the government justices to rule in your favor, right?
Well, you have to separate the government, for the most part, from the industry. And the industry that's providing the training for the skill set. And while it's arguable whether video games are to that point yet, you have to start considering the issue to when the beneficial aspects of interactive training are already there, such as Rosetta Stone for learning the language, or training for surgery on it, or flight simulators.
Yeah, see, when we come back, I really appreciate you coming on, Dylan. Dylan Reeves from Alabama. Now, we'll go ahead and get more into it when we come back, but you can understand the discussion on this. He's saying that, if you have someone profiting from creating skill sets in people to do violence, like war, you should be able to go after them. And I say, well, the government, no, can't do that. Why?